Last time I ran away from some big scary boys, built a new factory, and jammed a scoria generator inside. This time I build a big cliff, stick a building on top, and build a machine to process gravel into sand. And I even done some work between episodes clearing out more of the village to make space for these things. So the village is shrinking even further. This is all that's left now, and well, I don't even know if that's going to last the episode, but at least the villagers are safe. Most of them are still trapped down here in the pen, but there's also a couple over here that seem a bit concerned about their missing windmill. Now I'm going to grab a whole bunch of stone because I need to put in a cliff that basically sort of runs along this bit here so we can make more space on top. Plus I'm really looking forward to starting to sort out some of the terrain around here. It looks pretty messy. I think I'll start off just marking out roughly where the sort of bottom edge of the cliff is going to be. This might change a little bit, but we need something to at least get us started. So maybe something about that size could work. We'll obviously need to sort of step up this side here so we can have a small hill. But if we were to build this up, maybe obviously it's going to come in a few blocks here and there. But I think that's going to give us plenty of space at the top here for a farm. That means I've got lots and lots of block placing to do. Let's get this done. Short while later, and I've managed to get a cliff line in, which I think is going to work nicely. I just need to grab a whole bunch of grass and get all that turfed up, and then we should have enough space on top to build. And then, of course, we're going to need to texture it, make it all look nice and all that jazz, but we don't need to worry about that just yet. And I think something like that should do just nicely. We've still got some janky bits around the bottom here, but I'm not worried about them just yet. And of course, we're going to need to put some texture on this cliff side. But once again, don't really care about that right now. What I do care about is getting this sand factory up and running. We've got plenty of space here now to build one, but I'm pretty much out of tuff, and I do love my tough foundations in this area, so we're going to have to do a quick bit of mining first. That's enough of that. We've got a whole bunch of tough, and we've got loads more for the future as well. We went mining for quite the session there. But I need to make myself a bunch of tough bricks. Now let's mark out a foundation over here. So I think with this one, I'm actually going to have the train line sort of going, not necessarily through the building, but through the kind of yard of the building. So we'll probably actually have the storage over here, but actually have the building on this side. So we want to make sure we're leaving space for the rail. Let's just get down a bunch of blocks. So I'm thinking maybe something like this could work. We'd have a smaller building on this side, which will hold all the gravel ready to get processed. Then we'll have a big building here, which is going to process everything. And to be honest, over here, I'm probably just going to have a big old pile of sand. I don't really know. This is just kind of part of the yard, I guess. And then on the other side here, we'll have a few vaults, and that's what's going to load up the train for us. That's a creeper. I should leave and sleep. And looking at what we've got going on over here, color-wise, I think we might actually just do this as a sort of a plain brick building, so similar to this one over here. And then in theory, that's going to be the sort of last big sort of bricky building, at least on this side. And then we're going to start building over here and elsewhere and so on, and we'll use different materials. But I think, yeah, this is going to be our last brick building. And I've got quite a lot of brick. Hopefully I've got enough to build this. So for the style of building here, I think I want it to be similar to this sort of thing we've got going on over here. So let's maybe sort of cut out some doorways. Maybe the building footprint can be something like that. We'll just stick a vault in here to hold all the gravel. And we're going to have to figure out a way to get the gravel here. Oh, geez, it's actually going to be coming from all the way over there, isn't it? So, to be honest, I'll probably end up with some kind of underground transportation system for moving that over here. I mean, the other option is to grab it off of this train here, but yeah, I don't think I want to be doing that. But I think that should be a big enough space to actually get the processing bit in. I'm probably only going to have 4 or 5 lanes of stuff being processed, because if we do 7, like we did in the gravel, then all of our gravel is going to get turned into sand, and that's not what we want. We just want a bunch of it, really. And then, of course, the sand will get picked up by this train, go back into that cliff over there. I have started digging a tunnel, and we'll figure out what to do with that later. But now I think I'm going to get this building built up, and that was not where I needed to place that at all. But let's get this building up and see how we're sitting. Short while later, and I think we're just about done with the building over here, at least the outer shell. And it's just a simple brick building. We've got some dark oak doors in there, and on the roof here, I've tried something different here. We've actually got scoria, so I've used some of the polished cut scoria and the normal cut scoria slabs. But I think that roof colour looks really good. It does work very nicely down there. We've got plenty of space on the inside as well. As I say, we'll have a gravel vault here, and then we'll just have the big machine here. Probably another vault at the end, which is then going to feed over to some other storage on that side, and so on. But that should work quite nicely. nicely. And with the train, I've just added a little bit more track so we can actually have a little bit of wiggle room here when we're figuring out where we want to park it. I think it's probably going to want to be a bit further back than where it is now, but I think we're in a good position to crack on. Although, let me quickly put a fancy wall type thing here. There we go. So I think the next thing I want to do is to actually build the machine, the sort of processor that we're going to have here. But for that, I'm going to need some crushing wheels. And although I brought a lot of stuff with me, crushing wheels was not one of them because, well, I completely forgot. And the crushing wheels are something we can't make in our gigantic airship, so we're going to have to go home for those. I've got my crushing wheels. I just need to make, you guessed it, volts. Always with the volts. And probably some girders, you never know. Now I think I finally have everything I need. So first things first, I want to get a volt in here. And we are going to need to link that up to bring gravel over to it, but we'll figure that out later. For now, I think I want to try and figure out the actual sort of grinder machine first. So what we'll do is pull it out of the vault there and then split it into 5 tracks, I think. We'll have 3 of these tracks go up. So if we link those up to there and across the top, and we'll stick another giant vault down this end, so this is where it'll all end up. And then we'll just expand these ones all the way to the end here. But if we set the crushing wheels there and have the funnel going straight in, that should be good. So let's get the rest of these wheels up the top here, and some funnels, of course. And we're going to want some sideways ones down the bottom here. Let's get rid of those girders. That should do the trick nicely, I think. We just need to get a few funnels on this side, like so. We'll just make sure we get these crushers powered. So connect a vertical gearbox like that. That should do all of them. And then we need some brass tunnels on there with a funnel there. And now anything that comes out of there will get split evenly between these 5 tracks. And that's exactly what we want. So let's just do a quick bit of tidying up and get things looking a bit nicer. And then we'll figure out the power. So power should be fairly straightforward. We've got lots of space underneath here to route it around. And oh, I thought I looked at that guy then. And we can easily connect it up to the main power source, which should be just through here. Here it is. So we should just be able to come straight off of this. And with a couple of gearboxes, get it to where it needs to be. And there we go. Everything seems to be going in the right direction. That's nice. That means less work for me. And with a few chain drives, we should be able to get everything else working nicely. And that's got these ones moving. So let's just make this a little bit tidier. All right, good stuff. Now what we need to do is actually bring gravel over to here. And we need to get it over to here all the way from here, or one of these two potentially. So yeah, plenty of gravel here. We just need to get it to the right place. And if we look at the straight lines here, that vault there, which also stores gravel, is perfectly in line with part of this vault here. So I think the best bet is going to be just to go underground. So I'm going to start a hole under this vault here, and we'll have to go down quite low, I guess. Oh, in fact, maybe let's check some Y levels first. So this vault is at Y33, and I really should put some proper lighting in here. So we'll probably go down a little bit lower than that, I think. So we're down at Y125, and that's going to give us plenty of space. So hello. So this is the bottom of the vault. This is where I need to get connected to, and I've got a long old tunnel down there. And I'm thinking the best way to do this is probably going to be with just a small independent train. Doesn't need to be anything fancy as it's all underground and hidden, but I think using a train is going to be much better than using belts, because long conveyor belts like that, not good. Doesn't really help with ticks per second, and certainly won't be good for frames. So I think by restricting that and just doing it with rails, we're going to be in a much better position. And then we can just use some chutes and a fan or something to push everything up. In fact, let's get those chutes in first. And as we're going to be using a train down here, I should probably make this tunnel a little bit wider just so we can actually fit a driver on him without suffocating. There we go. Nice big tunnel. So now to figure out the drop-off system. We've probably got way too many funnels here for a start. In fact, before the drop-off system, we should probably build ourselves a very small train that can deal with this. And because it's going to be hidden, I really don't care too much what it's going to look like either. But in order to build a train, I'm going to need myself some stations. So let's camp here, grab some redstone so we can make some compasses, and get ourselves some stations. We're going to need 3, because we're going to need 1 at each end of the gravel road bit, and we're going to need 1 to actually park up the train and get sand. So let's put in a station here and build ourselves a tiny train. But it does occur to me I don't have train controls, I don't have a seat, and I didn't even bring the super glue. So yeah, we need to do a quick trip home. Again, a sensible person would probably be using the nether to do this, but well, here we are. I've made it back. This time I have glue, as well as all the other bits I need to make a train. I'll just turn these around the right way. And to be honest, that is all it's going to be. It literally doesn't need to be any more than that. We have a barrel for storage. We've got a storage interface so we can link up with the things at each end. And we've got controls so we can go in both directions. So what we'll do is just put something very simple here that does this. And we'll need to put another funnel on the end there. Do we have an andesite one? Then we'll make ourselves an encased fan and stick that here. Let's just move the train into position. Though I can see that being a problem for the driver, so let's rethink this ever so slightly. If we just move this over by a block, what we'll actually do is pull it out of the side instead. But we'll do the same setup, of course. Now we can get the train in and connect it up. Let's just quickly move the station. And then we just need to get this bit here powered. But we've got power just over here, so that should be simple enough. I think we're all hooked up, so the fan is pushing things from below, so items move upwards. That's what we want. Everything should come out of there and go straight into there, so that's fine. What we need to do now is just get this linked up on the other end with another station. So I think if we put a storage interface there, spin it around the right way. Nope, that's one block too high. Let's bring that down like that. We should just be able to do this quite simply with a series of chutes. So if we put a chute there, then we should just be able to bring that all the way up. Now, this is getting full up with gravel. Perfect. So all we need now is a mob that we can put on here, and then we need a schedule just to make it go backwards and forwards. So let's get ourselves some leads. Sorry, Vincent. Let's go find ourselves a nice passive mob. There's usually flies everywhere around here. There you go. Look, there's one right there. Told you. Come on, you. Got a job. That's it. Down here. Yep. And then all the way down this corridor. And you can live there now. But what I don't have with me is a schedule. So, yeah, let's go make one of them. I just had to go all the way home for about the billionth time today, but I have a schedule. So let's go give this to the flyman. So from here, we want it to travel to the gravel sand station. And we'll set the reference item to gravel just to be safe. Then we want it to travel back here. And we want it to have more than, let's say, 25 stacks. It should be able to hold 27 total. And we'll make sure that's gravel. That should be all this fella needs. Yep, he's off. So let's make sure that that loads up the vault here. I mean, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it's doing the job. And it looks like it's all coming up here as well as this zombie. Get out of it. And it's all getting ground up. We're getting sand, and we're getting flint as well, and clay. Not gonna lie, I kind of forgot we'd get flint and clay as well. But that's not a bad thing, because we do actually need flint and clay for other factories in this area anyway. And as long as we don't filter this to only collect sand, it will still take it all to central storage for us, so it's not really an issue. But what I do need to do is move everything from here over to the other side of the tracks. So we want to bring this stuff over, and I think it makes sense to go up a little bit first. And we'll bring that over to here. Maybe we should bring it a little bit further, actually. Then if we use a chute and a funnel, that should solve that one. Oh, I fell down. Then we just need to get power over to those belts. So I think we're just going to wrap around the back of this vault here. And then we'll get a couple of these encased chain drives in. We just need a funnel. Oh, and we need to set this to that way. There we go. Perfect. So now all we need to do is to bring this over to here somewhere. Get some belts on. Put a funnel there and a funnel there. And a sight funnel there. We're going to need to power this, and as usual, the easiest way is probably going to be to go through these girders here and hook up to this. There we go. Oh, we don't want this happening. Let's quickly stop that. So I guess here we'll have some chutes. Then if we do something like this, and we get some funnels there and there. Oh, just like that. We'll replace this top one here with a tiny vault. We'll use another encased fan here. So items are moving upward. That's good. Now we just need to get power up to there. And that should do the trick nicely. There we go. So now that all looks to be working, what we need to do is sort out the threshold switch for this. So when this one gets full, it will turn everything off. So we'll set that to 90% and then come back on at 25%. That's fine. But I am going to need some redstone links to make this work. And we'll put one link here. Then we'll put a clutch under here with a receiver. And now we should be all set. We'll have all the stuff coming in. Although we do need to put the station in properly for this train. Let's quickly do that. So that looks to be in the right place. So we will, of course, need to dig out that tunnel and figure out where that's going to be dropping everything off before it loops back round again. But before we do that, we've got a lot of tidying up to do. And not just here and in this yard and on the interior of that, but also under here. We need to finish off the structure down the bottom here. We need to get the road in. We're probably going to need to carve out a little bit of the cliff here as well. And we basically just need to try and get everything a bit more linked up. So I'm going to need to go empty all the junk in my bag, grab lots of other junk that we can use to build things, then crank up the music and have a montage. Oh my days, that has taken forever. But we're making some really good progress over here. So the sand factory itself is looking pretty good. As you can see, it's been working hard as well. It's all backing up nicely. In fact, that probably is actually going to turn off soon because it's just filling up that last vault. But we've got a big old pile of sand. Doesn't actually do anything, but I like the look of it. We've got a few more shipping containers, and I've also sorted out the paths around here. So the power station is now sort of connected up to everything. This path carries on across the rail track and goes all out the side here. And I've added a lot of extra support onto this building here, which it definitely needed. It was looking a bit feeble. On the inside here, I've just put up a few safety rails. We've got some lights in and, of course, some girders. I can't help myself. And we've also dug a tunnel that now loops all the way back up to the top of the mountain. As you can see, our train is going round and round. But that brings us on to our next task, because although this train can go round and collect things from every single station, it can't actually drop anything off yet, and we need somewhere intermediary for it to do that, because ultimately what we're going to do is have a big sort of warehouse here, and then the trains are going to come in and collect everything and then take it back to our main base. So because I don't want to be sending this train all the way down to the warehouse, what we're probably going to do is have somewhere inside this mountain here, there's going to be like a mini sort of warehouse. So we'll have a few vaults in there, the train will be able to pull in and drop everything off, and then we'll have something else that sort of connects those vaults down to the main warehouse. At least that's the plan. So what I need to do now is go and put some lights in this tunnel because it's horrifically dark in here. Oh, apparently I have actually lit up a lot of the rest of it, but what I want to do is open out an area around here somewhere, I think. Because if we can have sort of a station here just where the small train can offload all 5 of its containers, then I think that's going to work quite nicely for us. Whoa, that was close. So I guess I need to get digging, but the question is, do I use my drill down here? And you know what? I think I will. That way we can just create a nice big hole straight away and just get on with the build. So let's take a super fast train ride all the way home. As you may have been able to tell from that super fast train ride, we've still got a lot of work to do on those tunnels and the bridges and the rest of the rail, but that's not a problem for now. So my drill, it should be in here somewhere. I wonder actually, do we take this? We do have a digging enchantment. Let's just get that all enchanted up and we'll take that with us as well, just in case. But I imagine we're just going to be using the Big Daddy drill. So we'll take a mending book and we should have a digging one up here somewhere. There we go. Well, it doesn't look like we can actually put mending on it, so I guess we'll just put digging on it and hope for the best. So we're back, I've got my drill, and oh, look at this thing go. Maybe we should just use this after all. Although, let's be honest, it's still going to be much quicker with this thing. Oh, the drill was a little bit taller than I thought. Thankfully, I think the only thing we've ripped out is the floor. On the plus side, we've got plenty of space. I just kind of forgot that I made the drill really tall instead of really wide. Whoops. And we're still going to need to trim out this wall here a bit as well. And I see now why the drill doesn't need mending. It actually just uses up fuel. I wish I'd found a digging book ages ago. Jeez, this is amazing. So before we carry on downstairs, let's quickly put this floor back in, shall we? All sorted. I've added a layer of dirt as well, just to make sure. But that gives us plenty of space to work with down here to have a sort of mini depot. So let's go grab a train station, some vaults, and I guess we're going to need a few other bits and bobs as well to get this working. And I also need to think about how to make this whole area look nice as well. Back with my favourite thing, lots and lots of vaults, but I've also got the other create bits and bobs I need as well, and I've already gone wrong. Jeez. And what I'm going to do is just wait for the train to pull in and adjust its schedule so it'll pull into the other station for us. Here it comes. So, Mr. Sheep, give me your schedule. And we're just going to add in upper storage, and we'll keep that there until it's empty. So you can have that back, sir. So in a minute, he's going to pull into here, and then we can work out how we're going to do this. And I've just turned up the brightness as well while we're building in here, just to make things a bit nicer for you. So I've pulled the train in, and I've decided I'm going to make this room a little bit bigger. There we go, much more space. And then I'm going to stick a bunch of vaults in here. I'm not going to make them maximum size. I think just 6 blocks long should do fine. And then we've just got 1 vault for each carriage, which I think should work nicely. So we're going to need a bunch of portable storage interfaces. We'll put 1 above each carriage, and these should just connect straight away. Look at that. We should be able to keep this fairly simple, just with a few belts. In fact, we can literally do it with 1. That's all we need to do. So let's just repeat that on all of the rest of these. Then let's tidy this up with some andesite casings. All we need to do now is get power up to this. If I check my coordinates, it should be 2140. I think this is where my power line is. Close, I was only 1 block out, but to be honest, that's probably more useful to us. So let's just bring that power up. And if we get that going the right way, that should offload our train. Haha, look at that. And now the train's going to set off and carry on. Excellent. But now I need to make this area look nice. And we've got quite a lot of limestone in this area because, well, we're generating it. And I'm thinking we might use some of that. But I don't really know. We'll see what takes my fancy. And I've also got all these tunnels to sort out as well. So I guess I've got my work cut out for me for the next few hours. So I started by replacing the floor with some tuff and integrated some limestone variants into the walls. I used cut limestone to create a band that also continued through the tunnels themselves and created a bit of interest. I then grabbed my faithful girders to frame out the vaults and added some support to the offloaders. I filled in the ceiling and hung some lights, then promptly realised the only way in was via the train tunnel, which seemed mighty dangerous, so I carved out a service tunnel that led back to the sand factory tunnel entrance, added some lights in there too, and that brings us to now, where we have a semi-complete room with 3 giant holes in the ceiling. But I have a plan for those. We just need to grab ourselves a few things. So we need a windmill bearing, we need some large water wheels, we need the super glue, some andesite casings, and I need windmill sails, but sadly we don't have any wool here, so I might have to head home again. Or even better, we can just rob a village. So I've got what we need. Let's just put a temporary block there and we'll stick a water wheel on top of each of these. I'll stick a windmill bearing on top of that, although that's the wrong way around. There we go. We'll stick a block there and then we'll get some sails on, although I think what I'm actually going to do is raise this up by a block, get a few gearboxes, stick a vertical gearbox there with the windmill like that. We're going to need to quickly change these a little bit. We'll glue that block to that and then we're just going to hide this, I guess. We'll just cover it over with some grass. See, look, you'd never know. And then with a few shafts and a couple of extra gearboxes, we can get them all moving. And then on the underside, we're just going to use these corner framed blocks, and that should make them look fairly roundish. Yeah, they're looking cool. Although what I am going to do is just change the wood type there, make them look a little bit more metallic by using the birch. Oh, or not. You can see the birch bark on the inside. That's disgusting. So maybe let's just go with dark oak instead. You know what you're getting with dark oak. So that's all looking pretty good. I think what I want to do is probably get some information boards in these just so we can see the contents of what's in each of these vaults. And then I need to sort out that end of the tunnel. So I think what I'm actually going to do here is move all of these. And we're going to do that on this side instead. Then that gives me a nice space for display boards on each of the vaults so we can see how full they are. So the signs are in. Let's just put some threshold switches on so we can then attach display links to them. And apologies if my voice sounds a bit different. I think I'm coming down with something, which isn't ideal, but oh well. Let's get these linked up. And what we'll do is we'll set fill level to percentage on line 1 and then a progress bar on line 2. And I think that looks pretty cool. There we go. That's all of those done. They're all getting pretty full. This is good. Now I just need to sort out the rest of this tunnel. And while I decorate this tunnel, I'm going to ask you to do a little something for me, because it turns out 77% of you that watch these videos aren't even subscribed. So if you do enjoy the series and you want to make sure you're catching every episode, please do hit that subscribe button. Now let's see how that tunnel's coming along. Oh, easy now. Easy. Jeez. Well, I've done the tunnel. That's all looking nicey, and as far as you know, it's also looking nice around the corner. And with that, I think this area is ready to start shipping things off to the warehouse that doesn't exist yet. But I think it's safe to say we made some good progress today. We've pretty much finished this upper industrial section now. So that means next episode, we'll probably be removing the last of that village, and we can maybe even move the villagers up here and give them some jobs. Sadly for now, the spoonful of honey I took about an hour ago is wearing off. My throat's getting raspy again. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.